Hello dear students, welcome back to another session of Social Studies. Today we are on lesson number 5, First War of Independence. Now in this chapter we are going to learn about the history of British India, how British started ruling India, how they came to India, then establishment of the British rule in India. When did the British started ruling in India? How did the establishment took place? First war of independence against the British. Then how the Indian they started fighting for getting India independence from the British rule. So let's start. We celebrate Independence Day every year on 15 August. We watch our Prime Minister hoist the national flag at the Red Fort and give a speech. But have you thought whom did India gain its independence from? How was our country before it gained its independence? To understand all this, we have to go back in time, about 350 years back. So some 350 years back, what happened exactly? And how did India got freedom from the British rule? Everything we are going to learn in this chapter. So now let's start. Trade and East India Companies. How the trading and the East India Companies were formed. In the 17th century, several European traders arrived in India. First came the Portuguese, then the Dutch, followed by the French, and finally the English. Each of them formed their own East India Company to trade with India. All these companies wanted to trade with India for two reasons. One, India was rich in spices and cotton textiles. Two, India was a huge market for their goods. So how did the Portuguese, the French, the Dutch and the English came in India? Through the trading business. They wanted to set up their trading business in India. That's why these Europeans, they started their coming to India. And there are two reasons why they started their trading business in India. One, India was very rich in spices. And the second reason was that India had a huge market for their own goods. Next. Sir Thomas Roy, an English ambassador to the court of Emperor Jahangir, got the permission for the English East India Company to trade in India. So Sir Thomas Roy, an English ambassador, he got the permission to trade in India from the Emperor Jahangir. Jahangir has given him permission to form the English East India Company in order to trade in India. When the permission was granted, the English East India Company quickly established factories in Surat, Bharuch, Bombay, now known as Mumbai, Calcutta, now known as Kolkata, Madras, now known as Chennai, and many other places. So after when Sir Thomas Roy was given permission to start his East India Company, English East India Company, soon after, very quickly, he established factories in all these places: Surat, Bharuch, Mumbai, Kolkata, Chennai, and many other places. Next, establishment of company rule. Now, when they started trading in India, they have established some rules which has to be followed by the people of India. The company's trade proved to be very successful. This made them powerful, so they started carrying out conquest in India. In 1757 CE, it won the Battle of Palsi, fought with Siraj-ud-Dowla, the Nawab of Bengal, and Mir Jafar, his commander-in-chief. In this war, the company led by Robert Clive was helped by Mir Jafar, who betrayed Siraj-ud-Dowla. So, How did the Battle of Palsi was fought? It was fought with Siraj-ud-Dowla, the Nawab of Bengal, and his commander Mir Jafar. He betrayed him and went against Siraj-ud-Dowla and joined the East India Company. Then, in this way, a company was formed in the Bengal. Then the Anglo-French Wars fought between the French and the English East India Companies ended French trade in India and established the supremacy of the British East India Company. So the Anglo-French War, it was fought between the French and the English East India Companies. Then soon after, the French was stopped to trade in India, and then the British India Company was established. In 1764 CE, in the Battle of Boxer, the British defeated the Mughal Emperor Shah Alam II and Shuja-ud-Dowla, the Nawab of Awadh. As a result, the British owned the Diwani rights of present-day Bengal, Bihar, Jharkhand and Odisha. The Mughals faced further humiliation when the company gave them a fixed regular income which was just enough for their survival. So in 1764 CE, the Battle of Boxer was fought and it was defeated by the Britishers. Whom they had defeated the Mughal Emperor Shah Alam II and Shuja-ud-Dowla, the Nawab of Awadh. And what did they own? They owned all the Diwani rights, means all the rights of the king. And after that, these Britishers, they started giving these Nawabs a income, a fixed regular income, which was very little and which was meant only for their survival. After the Battle of Boxer, the company started conquering other Indian kingdoms. In 1799 CE, it won over Mysore by defeating Tipu Sultan in the Battle of Seringapatam. So in 1799 CE, the Britishers, they won Mysore by defeating Tipu Sultan. Over a period of time, the British East India Company defeated the Marathas, the rulers of Awadh and Punjab. Then after some period of time, after many years back, then British East India Company, they defeated the Marathas, the rulers of Awadh and Punjab. The company also introduced several laws and policies like the subsidiary alliance and doctrine of lapse to expand their rule. Subsidiary alliance was introduced by Governor General Lord Wellesley. According to the terms of this alliance, Indian rulers cannot have their own army. Instead, they were protected by the company's troops. This gave British complete control over the foreign affairs of that ruler. Doctrine of lapse was introduced by Governor General Lord Dalhousie. This doctrine allowed the company to annex any princely state whose ruler was incompetent or died without a natural male heir. The Maratha kingdom, Jhansi and Awadh were annexed under the doctrine of lapse. So according to the doctrine of lapse, which was introduced by the Governor General Lord Dalhousie, they will take up those rulers who has died without any male children. So just like the Maratha kingdom, Jhansi and Awadh were annexed under this doctrine of lapse. Ruling the empire. When the British took control of India, they needed a plan to run it. So they framed laws and planned the land revenue system. They also established the army, police, bureaucracy, and judiciary. So, how did they started ruling the empire? Now, after becoming so much powerful, the British East India Company, what they did, they took full-on control of India. Now they started a plan of land revenue system. Wherever the farmers will cultivate the crops, half of the share should be given to the British East India Company. So this was the plan made by the British East India Company. First War of Independence. The company rule was unjust and oppressive. The British had introduced laws meant only for their benefit. Many Indian rulers felt cheated because of the subsidiary alliance and doctrine of lapse. British land revenue policies forced farmers to grow cash crops for poor returns. This resulted in Bengal famine, the harvest famine in Indian history. It also blocked the growth of modern industries in India and hampered the industries of Indian handicrafts and cotton textile. And unrest among Indians grew. They protested against the British rule. So protest movement occurred throughout the 19th century in India. Some of the important ones were the Santhal Rebellion, which was held on 1855, Indigo Rebellion, held in 1859, Pabna Uprising, held on 1873, and the Deccan Riots, held on 1875. So when the British now they completely took over India, they completely took control over India. Now the Indians they felt it very cheated, especially because of the subsidiary alliance and the doctrine of lapse, and also the land revenue system. So that's why the Indians they started protesting against the British rule, and as a result the first war of independence had begun. Now revolt of 1857. The revolt of 1857 marked as a watershed in our colonial history. Now what is watershed? An event marking a turning point in a situation. Watershed. This was a turning point in the situation faced by the Indian in the British rule. It posed a serious challenge to the British Raj. Though there was general resentment against the British, the immediate cause of the revolt was the introduction of the new Enfield rifles. Now these are the pictures. Stamp of Mangal Pandey issued by the government of India. Bahadur Shah Zafar, Rani Lakshmi Bai of Jhansi. They were the people who started the first revolt of 1857, who fought against the British rule. Rumors spread among soldiers in Calcutta that the cartridges of this rifle were greased with the animal fat. This hurt the religious sentiments of the Hindu and Muslim soldiers alike. On 29 March 1857, Mangal Pandey, a soldier in Barakpur near Calcutta, refused to use the cartridges. So Mangal Pandey he was also working as a soldier in the British for the Britishers. So when he came to know about the rifles was being greased with the animal fats, so then soon after that he refused to work under the British rule. It was his first step against the British rule. As a result, he was executed. This triggered his comrades to revolt against the British. Later on 10th May 1857, a revolt broke out among soldiers in Meerut. They marched to Red Fort in Delhi and declared Bahadur Shah Zafar, the Mughal emperor, as their king. Soon after, the rebellion spread to Kanpur, Agra, Allahabad, and many places in north and central India. The revolt no longer remained a sepoy or soldiers' mutiny. Deposed rulers also joined the revolt because many lost their kingdoms mainly under the doctrine of lapse. Some leaders of the revolt were Nana Padnivas, Tantia Topi, Bhakt Khan, Begum, Hazrat Mahal, and Rani Lakshmibai. Rich landlords and talukdars of Awadh joined the revolt because they too lost their lands to the British. Poor peasants also rebelled because they bore the brunt of huge taxes. The British used great force to suppress the revolt. The revolt ultimately ended when Bahadur Shah Zafar was exiled to Rangoon, now Yangon in Myanmar. This brought the Mughal dynasty to its end. However, the revolt left a lasting impact on the British rule. In 1858, the Queen's proclamation brought India directly under the British crown. The revolt of 1857 was referred to as Sepoy mutiny by the British because they considered it to be a rebellion by a group of miscreants. Indian national leader, however, called it the first war of independence. They cherished its memory as a fight for freedom from the British rule. They celebrated its leader as martyrs of freedom struggle. So, how did the first revolt of 1857 took place? When they declared Bahadur Shah Zafar as a Mughal emperor. Then soon after the rebellion spread, it had spreaded to Kanpur, Agra, Allahabad and many places in North and Central India. Then slowly the revolt, they no longer remained a sepoy or soldiers mutiny. It became a combined revolt for the people. Everybody joined the revolt of 1857 in order to make India free from the British rule. But in this revolt, the Bahadur Shah Zafar, he was exiled, and then he was brought with him from, because of this revolt only he lost his Mughal dynasty. Then but nothing happened during this revolt also, because soon after that the Queen's proclamation means all the Indians, they came under the British crown. The Britishers, they regarded this war as rebellion, but according to the Indian, they declared this war as the first war of independence. And these were the persons, along with them also there were other persons who had joined the revolt of 1857. So that's why it is known as the first war of independence, the revolt of 1857. Now, exercises. First, filling the blanks. Dash visited the court of Jahangir to obtain his permission to allow the British to trade with India. Who went to the court of Jahangir to get the permission to start the British East India Company? It was Sir Thomas Roy. Next, in the Battle of Palsi, the British were led by Dash. Who led the Battle of Palsi? It was Robert Clive. Next, Dash is a right to collect revenue, land revenue system. The Battle of Boxer was fought in Dash in 1764 CE. The Dash is considered the first war of independence, the revolt of 1857. Revolt of 1857. Okay. Next, choose the correct answer. The Battle of Palsi was fought in Dash. Options are 1757, 1764 M, then 1758 and 1762. So it was fought in 1757. The British defeated Siraj-ud-Dowla in dash. Options are Battle of Palsi, Battle of Mysore, Battle of Boxer, Battle of Kurnool. So Battle of Palsi. Subsidiary alliance was introduced by dash. Lord Dalhousie, Lord Cornwallis, Lord Hastings, Lord Wellesley. So it was introduced by Lord Wellesley. Next, the rebels of the revolt of 1857 considered dash as their emperor. Shah Alam II, Rani Lakshmi Bai, Nana Sahib, Bahadur Shah Zafar. It was considered Bahadur Shah Zafar as their emperor. The British referred to the revolt of 1857 as dash. Peasants' rebellion, Sepoy mutiny, independence movement, revolt of Indians. It was Sepoy mutiny. Next we have write T for true and F for false statements. Sir Thomas Roy visited Emperor Jahangir and obtained trading rights. True. The British became the paramount authority over Bengal after the Battle of Palsi. True. Doctrine of lapse was introduced by the French. False. The revolt of 1857 had equal participations of Muslims and Hindus. True. The British rule ended with the revolt of 1857. False. So this was about the chapter First War of Independence. Next time we will meet with a new chapter. Till then, students, take care of yourself and thank you so much.